Man, I've been doing weekly videos like for quite some time now. But hey, it's fine. We're just gonna do a right line. We do have one new right line for DBD07, which is the president or CEO for a industry within Vanguard, Blitz CEO Welstra. In this video, we will be going through what he does and basically what he brings to the table. This right line is actually really nice, and I would say it's the one of the most well-designed arts as well, because you know he is like very nice, especially in the anime. This card is super nice to look at. Let's take a look at Blitz CEO as well as his lines of products. So for the grade 1, we have Blitz Programmer Strazer. Although when this unit is rolled upon, search your deck or hand for up to one grade 1 product card, put it into your order zone, and if you search from your deck, shuffle your deck. If you put it from your hand, draw a card. As tradition within the Brandt gate, most of the grade 1 right line is probably going to help you either search out your set order as well as putting the set order from hand or deck to the order zone, something like that. So this grade 1 is no exception. This grade 1 does put the grade 1 product card, which is this cannon card here, to the set order, which is going to be very significant later. Most likely you want to search your deck for it, unless of course you draw into the set order, because from the support that I see for the whole Blitz right line is that you could just put like one product card in your deck, similar to how Prison only puts one Prison in the whole deck, because you are able to search it out no matter what. Most likely you want to search your deck for it, but in the off case where you draw it into a hand, this card still lets you put it into your hand and still draws you a card, so you don't really minus from it, which is actually very nice. So this just makes the set order not being a brick, which is actually really funny. For the set order, we have Incandescent Flame Cannon Abhasal. It has a new keyword called Operate. Auto Order Zone. When this card is operated, choose one of your opponent's front row rear guards and retire it. If you did not retire, draw a card. Choose a card from your hand and discard it. Yeah, so we have like the set order that Blitz CEO will be playing around. And of course, this is not the only product order that we will have for Blitz CEO, but it is doing a part of what the final form will be. This card actually provides Blitz CEO with the board control options, especially against decks that basically rush you like really hard. And if you go against the decks that doesn't really rush you a lot, you get to filter your hand, which is actually quite nice for Vanguard. However, this set order by himself is unable to activate the operate skill, so you will need other cards to basically operate this card. You will understand once we go through some of the support cards that Blitz CEO actually has. And once again, this basically just reinstated my point that this card could only just be run at 1, because the moment you the moment you reach your grade 2 turn, you're able to automatically search for this, which is actually very nice. For the grade 2 Blitz right line, Blitz Technology Researcher Uber. Active Vanguard once per turn. Cost Soul Blast 1. Choose a product card from your order zone and operate it. Activate its operation ability. Second skill. Auto, when this unit is rolled upon, put a product card from your order zone into your drop. Search your deck or hand for up to one grade 2 product card. Put it into the order zone, and if you search your deck, shuffle your deck. If you put it from hand, draw a card. This is actually a similar skill to the grade 1, the Strazer, where you can actually search out your product order card. This is basically kind of like them upgrading their product. So since you will have the grade 1 product in your order zone, you basically put that card to the drop and you basically search your hand or deck for up to the grade 2, which is kind of like the upgrade, and also this card, and basically upgrade that cannon into like a fortress of cannon. Yeah. Upgrade.
Upgrades, people, upgrade.
And since this card does operate the grade 1, which means that you are able to retire something in the front row, which is very nice, especially against a very heavy aggression opponent. But if the opponent does not have anything in the front row, you are still able to basically change your hand, which is actually very nice. Although do keep in mind is that the operate ability is mandatory if you choose to operate the grade 1 set order. So if you your hand is like a very nice hand already, there's actually no need for you to operate that set order, because the draw one to discard one is mandatory. So do be careful when you are piloting this deck, because it might sometimes bite you in the you-know-where. And speaking of the grade 2 product set order, we have Heavy Strike Cannon Fortress. That's a German name. I can't pronounce that. Operate. Auto Order Zone. When this card is operated, choose one of your opponent's front or rear guard and retire it. If you did not retire, choose one of your opponent's Vanguard and it gets minus 5k power until the end of turn. Second skill, Auto Order Zone. When your grade 3 or greater Vanguard is placed by writing from a grade 3 cost, put this card into your drop. Search your deck or hand for up to one Mobile Fortress or Obliteration Freischutz maximum. Put it into your order zone, and if you search your deck, shuffle your deck. If you put it from hand, draw a card. Yeah, instead of you drawing one and discard one, this card takes 5k away from the opponent. Yeah, this deck is gonna be really disgusting. I can feel it already. As opposed to you needing the grade 2 right line in order to upgrade the set order card, he himself actually could upgrade himself when you persona right, which is actually very nice. And I actually noticed a similarity here. The upgraded version of this card just adds like a maximum at the back of the name. So if we ever going to have a grade 4 or maybe a better version of grade 3's product set order, we know what the name is going to be. You just add another maximum. So this basically could tells you that you are able to play most of your product set order at one copy, which is actually very nice. This will actually means that you actually have a lot of extra spaces for you to run some of your other key pieces, which is actually quite nice. It's looking to be really solid too. And you know, guns. Lots of them. And speaking of the grade 3 product set order, we have Mobile Fortress of Obliteration Freischutz maximum. I'm sorry if I butchered the name. Continuous, you cannot play this card. Second skill, Operate. Auto Order Zone. When this card is operated, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, retire it. Choose one of your opponent's Vanguard and it gets minus 5k until the end of turn. Cost Counterblast 1. Return a rearguard to your hand and call this card as power 23k and a critical 1 normal unit to an open rearguard circle as stand. If you call a card, put that unit into the order zone at the end of that battle. Yeah, so we have a similar skill to the previous version, but with more benefit. So the previous grade 2 set order only lets you retire the front row, but this card actually lets you directly retire either the front row or the back row. So that's a very major upgrade if you ask me. And not to mention, this does minus 5k from the opponent's Vanguard, which this is like very disgusting already. But keep in mind here is that the operate skill is not once per turn. So every single time you operate, you are able to minus a 5k from your opponent, provided you do have the pieces to operate these product set order. What's more, this card actually becomes a rearguard. This is the first time we actually see a set order becoming a rearguard. And not to mention, this is a 23k beater. It's actually quite disgusting. And what's more, you actually return a rearguard to hand, which means that any rearguard can be called. Any card in your hand can be called because they are going to be returned to the hand anyway, be it a trigger, over trigger, or PG. That card is just gonna go back to hand anyway. So what this also means is that this card makes the whole Blitz deck becomes a 4 attack deck, because after attacking like all of your rearguards, and when you attack with Welstra, we will take a look at him later, you could basically just operate this grade 3 card and basically call him out to have a 4th attack, which is quite disgusting if you ask me. And in the anime, of course, we know how stupidly huge this card is. And for the big man himself, Blitz CEO Welstra. Auto Vanguard Circle. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, choose one of your products in your order zone and operate it. Second skill, Auto Vanguard Circle. When one of your products is operated, this unit gets power 5 until the end of turn. Yeah, this is one of the ways for you to operate your product set order. I mean, we do have a lot of them. We're just gonna go one by one with them. But this card makes the whole deck having a 4 attack, which is actually super nice. He is going to be 18k by himself. Not the most game-breaking number, but hey, it's solid enough. Together with Freischutz, whatever, maximum, this is going to be a 4 attack deck as previously mentioned. And since the grade 3 set order does return a unit back to hand, anything can be called to the rearguard circle if your persona right, because you know, even a 4k trigger is gonna be hitting for 14k, and since you are going to return something to the hand anyway, it's actually very decent if you ask me. The persona right turn for this deck is actually really insane. And this is only like 6 cards out of the whole deck. We actually do have other support. Of course, he's gonna get more support. The first card is Blitz Engineer Hoflio. Although when this unit is placed on Rearguard Circle, if you did not operate a product this turn, cost Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 1, choose a product card in your auto zone and operate it. Second skill, continuous Rearguard Circle. During your turn, if you operated a product this turn, this unit gets 5k power. So the first thing that you should be noting here is that this is an 8k base, which does some just a little bit on the defensive side. But this card is able to operate product, which means that if you do operate the grade 2, you are able to minus a 5k to the opponent, which means that this 8k is like for sure he's going to be able to hit if the opponent doesn't guard that. So this card will be the first to operate any product, and since the grade 3 product set order is able to return a rear guard, this card is actually reusable provided you have the Counterblast 1 as well as the Soul Blast the next turn. But yeah, this card, I think it's probably worthy of the triple R status. And since this card will be attacking for 13k, if the opponent is a grade 3, this means that the opponent has to throw down a 10k shield to guard this thing without boosted. So the 8k isn't the end of the world if you are playing a power lowering deck. Next up, we have Blitz Mechanic Schtart. All these are German. Active Rearguard Circle. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, cost Counterblast 1 and put a Heavy Strike Cannon Fortress Freischutz from your auto zone into your drop and retire this unit. Choose up to 1 Mobile Fortress of Obliteration Freischutz maximum from your hand and put it into your auto zone. So this card does help accelerate the grade 3 product set order to come out 1 turn early. Although it's actually quite key piece dependent, because you need to have this card as well as the grade 3 in your hand. Only then you're able to bring it up much earlier than what was initially intended. This is basically a -2 to get Freischutz maximum, because Freischutz needs to be put into the order zone and he needs to be retired, which is not something I am impressed with, because you know, -2 to bring out Freischutz maximum a turn early, it's not the end of the world, but it might just cost you some of your defense as well. But I guess it's still fine as long as you kill your opponent. But even with this card skill in mind, I don't think this really gives you the incentive for you to run more than 1 copy of Freischutz maximum, because you know, I think this card is probably just like a hit or miss, because he's not really that great of a card skill, because Freischutz maximum needs to be in your hand in order to activate him. So it's okay, but not going to be the stapler unless you're playing more than 1 Freischutz maximum, which is going to be bricking really hard. For the next triple R, we have Blitz Secretary Perphe. Auto, when this unit is placed on Rearguard Circle, cost Counterblast 1 and put a grade 2 or greater set order from your drop onto the bottom of your deck and draw a card. This card does help you recycle your grade 2 or grade 3 set order that is in your drop back to your deck. Now you might be thinking, but doesn't the right line actually help you search for those 2 cards? You have to understand is that you are still subjected to eating damage. So the chances of you damage checking into the grade 2 or the grade 3 product set order to the damage zone is still quite high. So if you are able to heal it off, this card actually helps you basically recycle those cards and set them again the next turn, which is actually very nice. And what's more, you do get to draw as well, so this card does not really minus herself. Usage is still a little bit niche for now, because we don't really like get a lot of support for now that is going to make this card like super triple R status. But this card being a triple R status is still a little bit debatable, because this skill does not seem to be triple R, but maybe we're missing some sort of a puzzle here that Bushiroad has not revealed just yet. Lastly, we have Blitz Mechanic Iskra. Active Rearguard Circle. Active Rearguard Circle. If you did not operate a product this turn, cost Counterblast 1 and rest this unit. Choose a product card in your order zone and operate it. Operate its operate ability. So yeah, this card is definitely double R. This card does helps you like operate Freischutz maximum, the grade 3, if you do have it in the aura zone. What's more is that since it's not once per turn when you operate Freischutz maximum, you actually could have 2 of them on the field. Although that will require you to run more than 1 Freischutz maximum as well as the grade 2, which will tends to take up spots, but I think it's quite okay. Judging by how well Eva as well as Orphis is doing, I guess it's not too much to ask to run more than 3 set order, so it's actually not too bad. But then again, you need to basically play the grade 2 since you are not able to play the grade 3 product set order, which means that the only option for you is to play the grade 2 and then wait the next turn when you personal right, you basically set Freischutz maximum to the order zone so that you will have 2 of them in your order zone. However, do keep in mind here is that this card will be in direct contradiction with Hoflio because both of them has the restriction says that if you did not operate a product this turn. So you need to basically plan out a little bit on which card do you want to play first, because since both of them do have their uses, this is basically going to be a booster, but since she rests herself, it's not really that great. And if you do operate the grade 3, you could actually just return this card back to hand, which kind of resets the resting cost, which is actually very nice if you ask me. The combo here is super chef's kiss. Yeah, it's actually looking really good, and this is only like the triple R's as well as the double R's. Once we get more commons and rares, this deck is going to be really nice to play if you ask me. And that is all for this video. Do let me know down in the comment section on what you think of the Blitz CEO as well as his whole company. A friend once told me that this guy is like that one person who comes on the weekend, want to have fun and playing cards, but he's basically the company itself trying to dictate whatever products needs to be come out. Which is super funny. Do like and subscribe if you like this video, and of course during the bell notification icon so that you don't miss a video I upload. With that being said, I'll see you all on the field.